I will go back to my sphere and do some make polymesh 3D. And from here, I will work on my demon head. Will be the exact same process as I did uh, the character head. This head will be maybe the exact same process. So let's get the move brush. Let's do some jaw. All right, let's do some jaw here. Maybe this time we could use the IQ curve to make some kind of sharp jaw here. All right, now let's get the edge polish to mark the planes of the head from the front view. This should be like an egg. All right, let's carve a tiny bit here to define the jaw. Define the jaw, you can see here. Also, let's get again the IQ curve to define more the jaw line. All right, let's exaggerate a tiny bit this. Perfect. Let's keep working on this. Give me a sec. All right, let's continue. Perfect. Now, with the transpose master, let's measure where the eye will be around here. All right. Now from here, let's adjust a tiny bit more here. So here, from here, I will carve down to get the cheekbone there. All right, let me change to a white color maybe. All right, maybe some grayish, just like this. Perfect. All right, from here, I will get the ears, but you can see here in the concept, the ears are not that pointy. That like here is not that pointy in the concept. So let's try to not make the ears that pointy. Also, this head is more like some mechanical type of head, more like some hard surface head. But we will do those details later. Maybe we could also do some apply a little bit of detail in the blockout just to imply that this is a mechanical head. But just for now, let's focus on the basic shape. All right, back face mask here. All right, edge polish, maybe. All right, now let's get the nose. Will be around here in the middle of this point and this point. Get the nose. We need to make some angry face. You can see here is always angry with that big smile with those tusks here, and also a pronounced cheek with this nasal labial going down and melting with the cheeks for some reason. You can see here. I will try to do that also. Let me make the nose. Also, let's start making the angry face. Also, let me mark the temporal bone of the head. So here, the frontal eminence. Let me change this alpha from that squarish to this spherical alpha. All right, perfect. All right, let me keep removing more volume here. Perfect. So we are getting this. All right. Now let's add maybe some volume here. And now we will need some more resolution. So let's do a Dynamesh. A Dynamesh in maybe 60, 60, 66, you can say. All right, around 56 of resolution. All right, let's go. Dynamesh. All right, we got this more resolution. All right, so we can add more details to our demon head here. Maybe these pronounced cheekbones here. Perfect. Let's refine a tiny bit more of these. Let's add the eyeballs and also this fat pad here. Let me see my reference tiny bit. A tiny bit just this part. Maybe we could exaggerate more the face. All right. Let me get this a bit more exaggerated. All right. Now let's get big the big smile that these demons has. It's looking kind of goofy right now, I know, but it will look good at the end, trust me. All right, let's wait for this to save. Let me see for all the angles. All right, let me mask tiny bit here, maybe. Maybe a little bit bigger the chin, a tiny bit more of matador here, just a tiny bit. All right, perfect. And now we could this part should be more like this here, a bit more. It's like this here. All right. Maybe we could increase a tiny bit the resolution there. Maybe 80 will be, maybe not that, a tiny bit more. Maybe this resolution, Dynamesh. All right. Let's keep working. Let's add some nostrils. All right. Let's refine a tiny bit more here. Try more the shapes. All right. Perfect. Let's get more that angry face there. Starting to add and a bit more of detail here. All right. So we have these here. All right. Let's refine a tiny bit more these places. We need to add the teeth for this to look right. So let's add cylinder. Bring it down. Right. Perfect. Put it here. Make it smaller, tiny bit. Squish it a bit more. Put it here. Duplicate that and put it in the lower part. Right. Look at this nicely. Maybe we could move the head. It's a tiny bit more like this. All right. Keep going with this. Maybe a tiny bit more of this temporal muscle here. All right, let me do some dynamesh on these meshes, on the teeth meshes, so we can have a little bit more of control there. Right, we have this front teeth. These frontal teeth. There are around 4. All right. Perfect. And now we could add the tasks. Something like this. Not that small. Something like that. Here. Little masked points. So we have this in another subtool. Let's active the local and put it in place. Around here will be good. All right, active the Aki curve. Shape it in a better way. Maybe something like this will be. Right. We add another one on here will be. This time maybe a tiny bit thicker will be. Maybe this first one will be a tiny bit smaller. Something like this. And these other ones will be just like that. Perfect. Let me exaggerate more the smile. All right. Let's refine those planes. All right. These eyes, I need to, let's make the eyes close together. They were a little bit separated. Also here, I want to get these planes nicely done. All right, let's get two planes here. Something like this. Perfect. And now let's start shaping the lips. Something like that. Perfect. Here. Right, just like this. Maybe the lower ones also. We can shape them. All right. Something like that. Let's add some task here also. Just like this. All right. Let's put them on masked points. Go here. All right. Perfect. All right. There we go. Here could be. Perfect. We're getting something. All right. We are getting something. Let's make some planes on the nose also. Something like that. All right. Let's get this ear a tiny bit better. I don't think that I will do the internal stuff for the ear, because you can see the ear here is just flat. I won't do the hole and the part of the ear. I will just leave that flat, like in the concept. Right, let's keep working on this. Perfect. Let's keep refining this more. Perfect. All right. All right. And now here in the concept, this has some sort of separation goes up here, and then this goes here down. Okay, something like this. All right, let's try to add these details there. Perfect. All right, let's save, and maybe now we can start doing the eyes. See, we will do this. Now the lower eye. Now let's start carving here the eye socket, so we can put some eyeball there. All right, let me measure. All right, let's append an eye. I mean a sphere, and just put it in place. All right, mirror and weld without local symmetry, so we have this symmetrical. Maybe we could active again local symmetry on here, and now we can move the surroundings to grab it around the eyeballs. All right. Perfect. Let's keep finding the eye shape. Perfect. All right. Here we go. Perfect. Let's keep refining a little bit more. Make sure that you have your reference on hand. I'm using my main reference is this one. I'm doing some like mix these references here. I'm using this like for the main one. All right. And here we will do something like this. All right. Perfect. Let's keep refining this. All right. Perfect. All right. So we have that. Maybe we could do another Dynamesh in a higher resolution. Something like this could be. All right, give me a sec. All right. I'll refine a tiny bit more the shapes. Maybe make the eyes a little bit bigger. This cylinder here is a little bit too big. It was poking out. All right. Perfect. Let me bring down the ears and put it in a better position. All right. Refine a tiny bit more this part here. Perfect. And now we need to add the horns that this head has. The forehead. You can see here these horns. We will add it now. Let's get our curve tube. Let's do some horn shape. All right. I think I just messed up something here. All right, perfect. Let's get our move brush with AccuCurve active so I can make better the horn shape. Let me make this a tiny bit flat. All right. Perfect. So we have this here. All right. Let's save. And keep refining this head. We just refining a tiny bit more the shapes and getting it some more planes. All right. Some planes here, here and there. Also here. All right. Maybe here we could close this stuff just like this. All right. So we have this here. This looks a bit weird. Let me change the shape. Just a tiny. I think this is looking worse. Oh my gosh. Um. Let me see how we can change that shape so it doesn't look like a weird part of the body that female has. Maybe we could just leave it just like this. That would be enough. Or maybe not, it's too empty, that part there. Maybe something like this would work, I think. All right. Perfect. There we go. We have something there. Perfect. Find a tiny bit more this part. All right. So there we go. We have our head. We will put some colors, some provisional colors there. So we can put it in the waist of our character. In the comp set, the head has some sort of a line here. So I will try to add that line also. Perfect. So now let's add a little bit of color. Let's get our sea color here, and let's color pick a color from the cam set. All right, let me get also this grayish color. Let me apply first that grayish color in here, these areas. All right. Perfect. Oh, we could just plot the head with the orange color and just paint these areas with this grayish color. All right. Perfect. Let's get this nicely here. All right. So maybe this area could also be in some grayish color here. All right. That part will be an orange. Right? The eyes could be on a yellow, on a bright yellow, just like this. Maybe we could add a little bit brighter color like that. All right. The tasks. Let's see. This part should be some. It should be red. The horns should be red. Let's get this red. Just apply that on the head. Alright, these tasks. It could be some on like this, kind of yellowish color there, just to have something. And now I think that we could put this in the waist of our character. Or so in order to do that, let's go here. Let's go to merge visible. So that will make another tool with all the subtools merged. Now let's do copy here, go here, and paste the head, move it, and just put it in place around here. Something around here. I think the horns will be smaller. Definitely the horns should be a lot smaller. Let me do it right now. These horns are way too big. Are way too big. Something more like this could be. I think so. Alright, let's do some merge visible again. Let's get this, copy, click here. Let's delete that other head. Let's do some paste. And again, let's just move it and put it in place. So we have this demon head there. That for some reason he has hanging on his strap. So there we go. Alright guys, so let's continue with this model. In the previous video, we left the model in this stage. We did and refined the hair, as you can see. So now we're going to refine this demon head. So let's start. So I was thinking that, we are going to use another method. Maybe we could like mask and then separate each layer, or we could extract it. Let's see which way will be better for us. So first, I think that I will separate the ear, all right, in its own subtool. All right. Perfect. Let's just mask it. Invert the mask. Now split unmasked points. Then do some Dynamesh. Alright, let's refine this. Alright, let me apply that same color. Alright, here. Get this. Now I want this orangey. I want this orange layer. So I will just extract it also. Alright, maybe not the rims, not the thickness. I don't want the thickness. I just want the frontal portion. We're going to make some thickness later. Alright. Perfect. Let's keep adding this mask. Let me put this masking back face mask. Alright. Let's remove the thickness. Perfect. Now, what I'm going to do, I will maybe do some extraction here with zero thickness. Alright, there we go. Let me apply this color. Now I will invert the mask and get this other piece. Alright, with this one will be with the gray. Let me hide that head. So now we have that. Alright. Now let me remove this part real quick with the mask. I mean with the select lasso. Just like that. Delete hidden. Polish by features. Alright. I think this is too low. Maybe a little bit higher. Maybe like that. Will be good enough. Yeah. Perfect. Polish by features. More polish by features, maybe. Perfect. Alright. Now, with this, I'm going to do the same. Let's do some zero mesh. This time, a little bit with a higher poly count. Maybe let me refine again a little bit of these facial features for the remesh to work nicely. All right. Perfect. All right. Get this. Perfect. Now here in the eye. All right. Something like this. All right, I think this should work nicely. So let's do a zero mesh with this poly count with 5.4. Let's see what that gives us. All right, it's pretty decent. Let's apply this color. Now, what we could do, we could maybe mask the frontal part, and then do some polish by features. Just like that, because I don't want the face to get washed out. Alright, let me do some more polishing with the edge polish. Alright, now what I'm going to do will be to do some thickness with extrude all polygons. Just like that will be, or maybe a little bit flip. Now let's get the gizmo, invert, let's put it in the center. And then we could just scale it down to make the thickness without having the polygons to clip through themselves inside. Here we are going to make also some thickness. All right, let's make some thickness. Perfect. There we go. This is, I think it is from this task. From where is this? All right, we're going to also refine the teeth later. Let me do some more polish by features. Maybe a normal polish will be nice. All right, here we could add some crease. All right, let me put the polygon actions into nothing. All right, we could add a crease in this edge, and also let's go to the geometry tab, to the creases, and let's do crease polygroup border. Now let's reduce the crease level, maybe to 2. All right, I think that's nice. Let me see the crease, maybe to 2, or maybe 1. I think 1 will be better. Let's leave it in 1 just for now. Let's add the crease. Perfect. All right, maybe let's just reduce a tiny bit crease level. With my mask lasso, I'm going to mask this and then do some polish by features in that area. All right, now around here, I will make maybe this edge loop around here, one single polygroup. All right, let's wait for this to save. All right, now let's add a few more edge loops. All right, let's just remove the middle one. All right, poly loop. Let's just extrude this a tiny bit. Insert one edge loop. All right, now we're going to remove those. We are going to remove these edge loops, right? Just like that, and then add new ones. Perfect. Just like this, so we have this line clean and nice. All right, let's see what happens if we do some polish by features without masking the face. You can see that we are losing some form that I don't want to lose. All right, here, what we can do. Let's mask. No, let's do some dynamesh, actually. All right, let's smooth this part and a bit more, just like this. Let me try to clean all of this part there. All right. Perfect. All right. Perfect. All right. Now, what we are going to do, we are going to use the slice curve brush to make some different polygroups around here. So we could, so we can refine this nicely. I see, I see. Let me go here. One polygroup. Now here. Another one. Now here. Another one. And now here. Perfect. There we go. Let's do some. Let's do some zero mesh with keep groups active. All right, maybe another one. All right. Well, now let's do some polish by features. Perfect. I think that should be good. Perfect. Let's move this ear and shape it nicely. All right, with the gizmo, I'm going to move that ear in place around here. And also, maybe we could do some hole. Let's instead, let me do something first. Right, auto groups, mirror weld. Now let's insert this polygroup all. All right, polygroup all in standard mode. All right, now I'm going to select this scale polygon center, maybe polygroup all here. No, it's not a scale. Let's go with the gizmo and let's just make it smaller like this with local symmetry. All right, now let's press Ctrl and then extrude it again. All right, we have some extrusion. Let's add few more edge loops there to hold this shape. And now let's do some crease polygroup border or crease normal. All right. So we have this. Let's put this in 1 and this dynamic subdivision in 4. And we have some ear. All right, let me try to do some more. Maybe not. Perfect. All right, let's try to get this nicely. Perfect. We have the ear of the demon. All right, now we are here. All right. Now we could start maybe refining the face. So let's apply the subdivisions and start sculpting with some lazy mouse. Let's refine this crease here with the dam standard. All right. just like that. This other piece also, just like that. Here, real quick and nice. All right. More refinements. I'm just basically refining the shapes that we had before. There's nothing special. All right. Here, the corner of the eye, a little bit more sharp. Here under the eye, I mean the eyebrow, yeah. All right. Let's make this area a little bit more defined. Perfect. Other area. And here, this nasolabial fold, make it more pronounced. All right. Perfect. All right. I'm just bringing back the forms and refining them. All right. Perfect. Now here, the cheekbone. All right. Here the eye. Let's refine this area. Let's carve a little bit with the clay tubes. All right. This should be a little bit more long. All right, perfect. Now let's refine the lips. All right. Here, let's try to bring back the lips. I try to make the inside of the mouth a tiny bit better or and deep. What is this? Right, let's just push that inside. Let's see how this is looking. Looking nice, indeed. All right. Let's go here. Let's make this part here in the nose. Let's refine the sheen. Just defining the plane changes. All right. Perfect. Now here, I'm going to continue this line all the way up. All right, just like that. Perfect. Let's fill. Let's fill this part and just smooth it tiny bit. All right, and also this part. Perfect. right. To bring him back. The ellipse forms. Perfect. There we go. Just like that. And now we have this. We could use also some floater detail, but not now. Let's see the horn, what we could do with the horn. All right. With the horn, I think I will make some crease in this edge loop. Let's reduce the crease level. All right, let's increase the dynamic subdivisions. All right. Perfect. Let's see. And maybe we could add some crease in this area. Let's try to get that crease without having this problem. All right, let's try to get it. I'm just still getting problem. All right, perfect. There we go. Now let's remove this one. All right. Do some more polish by features. I think that just destroyed the form. Don't like that. Yeah, that destroyed the forms a tiny bit. All right, let's try to get this nicely by doing some edge polishing. All right. Nah, look good. All right, we're going to do something. Let's do some subdivisions. They'll lower and then do some zero mesh and see what this gives us. Let's wait for this. Perfect. Let me get this red color and then fill this with that red color. All right. Perfect. Let's try to get this nicely placed around here. And with that, or cracks, let's try to get some hole and space for this in the head. Just like that. There we go. Maybe we could even put some volume just like that, and I think it looks good. All right, a little bit more refinement. I mean, polish by features, sorry. There we go. All right. We could maybe do this, maybe not. All right. Perfect. Now, let's refine the tasks. The lower. Let's get this color. Let's do some C mesh. All right. Here also. Some subdivision, the lower, some mesh. All right, let's fill these objects with the teeth color. And now here we need the teeth and how we're going to make the teeth. That's a good question. We're going to mask all of the teeth just like that. Let me see. Yeah, let's mask it. Little masked points. Let's get this. All right, let me separate the lower part. Now with this slice brush, I'm going to slice each teeth just like this. All right. And now what I'm going to do will be to do some, let's go to Dynamesh and groups. Let's press groups there and then do some Dynamesh. All right. First, let's do some maybe mask border to have some border to work with. All right, now we have these teeth separated. We're going to refine it later. All right, where is my lower teeth? I think I just delete them. Seems so. Yeah, I think I just delete them. Well, that's not the big deal. Let's just duplicate that. Get these teeth. Move them down. Let's wait for this to save. All right. Let's put this here. And now just place it nicely in this area. Just like this would be perfect. All right. Let's try to get Taiwan's the same polygroup. Let's go with clay buildup with backface mask active, and let's add some volume. And also here I will add a little bit more of volume. Another Dynamesh here also. A little bit more of volume. All right, now we could, a bigger resolution, we could start sculpting tiny bit here. Make the shape of the teeth. All right. Get these ones. All right. like some teeth shape. Maybe we could get the middle ones have maybe something like that, and the other ones to be more like this, maybe. I think so, yeah. Perfect. All right. Let's put that more inside the mouth. Oh, just like that. Let's get this also. Let's do the same stuff. Let's increase the Dynamesh resolution a little bit more. A little bit more, just like that. Perfect. All right. Or maybe we could just delete this and do the same stuff that we did before. First, I will do some Zbrush without symmetry. All right, now I will just get all of these, put it upside down, and then just put it here without too much trouble. All right, let's squish it a tiny bit and put it there. And then we have our teeth there. Perfect. We could do some sculpt, some detail in the tusks. Like we could just find some planes just like that. Maybe go with the edge polish. I'm polishing them up just like that. All right. Perfect. All right. Let's do the same thing here. All right, here also. And here. Let's get this a little bit more pointy. Just like that. Perfect. All right. Perfect. So we have that. Let's push the tusk a little bit more inside the mouth so they are not collision with the lips. I think this is looking cool. All right. Let's see. Has some color, right? I think so. I don't remember. Yeah, has some color. All right. Perfect. Now we will go here. And maybe with the orb cracks, we could do like this type of detail. Let me hide the ear also. We'll put something similar to synthetic muscles. Let me remove the dynamic subdivisions here. Alright, let me increase the lazy mouse, also the C intensity and the subdivisions. A little bit more lazy mouse. Then do just this. Alright. Just a quick detail there. Perfect. Maybe no, let's go with the drop brush and then do some volume for that. Perfect. Alright, there we go. Let's go with the smooth directional. Let's go here with smooth directional and then just smooth along these lines. Alright, let's bring back the ears. We could maybe start placing some floaters. Let's see how the floaters looks on this head. Maybe we could use this one. Let's go to a piece that we don't have any subdivisions, because it's, if we go to a subdivision, I mean to a piece that has some subdivisions, this brush won't work. The MMN doesn't like the subdivisions models. Alright, so let's see. Maybe we could put some circles here. Maybe there. I think it looks cool. Alright, let's see here. A bit smaller, just like that. Perfect. Alright, let's get this and put it here. Maybe we could put it. Maybe not. I don't like it. Alright, where are my tasks? Oh no. Alright, there we go. Maybe we could add this one here. Just like that. Perfect. On top of the head. With a tiny bit squash down. I think that looks kind of cool. Just like that there. And also, maybe we could put this one in the middle here. Perfect. Try to get this not in the center. Or maybe it is not in the center. Let's do some mirror welds. Perfect. Maybe not. Let's see what we could put in this area. I don't like it. Maybe we could just left his head just like that. I won't care too much. All right, here, let me separate the horns from the floaters. All right. Let's do some subdivisions on the horns. Just a little bit. Then do some refinements here and there. I mean, just doing some edge polish. Refine a little bit more the planes. Just like that. Make a nice. All right. Perfect. All right. Perfect. I think this should work. There we go. Maybe let's put that in place here. All right. Better. Now we could get this head. Let me apply 4 subdivisions on every piece, even in the floaters, so we could have subdivisions once we merge them up. All right, now let's do some merge visible. Merge visible here. Perfect. Now let's get this head. Copy. And now let's just put it in place. Paste. Now let's get this head. And let's put that in place here. Where are my subdivisions? All right. And where is my sub tool? It's here. Oh, I just forgot about that. Let me delete this one. Let's go here. Let's do another merge visible. So now we have a model with subdivisions. I just forgot to add the two subdivisions to the eyes. I will delete this head. I will save. All right, let's paste the head. All right. And then just put it in place. Perfect. Let's make it bigger. Let's remove the old one. And there we go. We have our refined demon head